Hey guys, JC Peretz here, founder of AllStarCharts.com, and we're doing a little live charting session. We want you to put in the ticker symbols. Giancarlo, my main man, say what's up to the fellas and the ladies. Listen, you guys know we produce a lot of content. You know, this is the man behind the scenes, Mr. Giancarlo, San Diego in the house. And one of the things that I said, I go, Giancarlo, people want to see you, right? You're a good dude. You're funny, right? Everybody loves you. Why doesn't the rest of the audience get to hang out with Giancarlo? And what'd you say? You got to give the people what they want. You got to give the people what they want, Giancarlo. Are we good? I hear you loud and clear. I do. What about Izzy? Is he giving you a thumbs up? Like, check. We got to get Izzy. We got to get Izzy to give the thumbs up. Well, this is what this looks like to me, and I'll even throw small caps in there as well on the XLF because they're very in similar situations. You got the financials in the 2018 highs. These are the 2020 highs. This is the XLF, and that former resistance turned into support last summer, which is perfectly normal. You know, where there were more sellers than buyers, where there was more supply than demand. Ultimately, the market proved that demand was finally able to absorb all that supply. It took a few years, got it done, and that's prices were able to go higher. Right? People are like, oh, why are prices going higher? It's because there's more buyers than sellers at those prices. That's why prices are going higher. I'm sure those buyers have perfectly good reasons why they're buying, and I'm sure the sellers have perfectly good reasons why they're selling, and all the reasons are different, and I couldn't care less what those reasons are. I am just more interested whether there are more of them or fewer of them. Nevertheless, here we are back to the scene of the crime. Financials retesting those summer lows for the third time. And at the end of the day, the more times that a level is tested, the higher the likelihood that it's going to break, because it gives supply, it gives those sellers more and more opportunity to supply shares with whatever demand is left there, which has already been tested several times in the past. So how much more demand is there? Is there enough demand to carry all this supply and send prices back up? We will see. But this is where that needs to happen, is really my point. So I don't know, shout out to whoever asked me about the XLF first. Great call. This is probably the most important chart in the world right now. Great. And I would argue that the second most important chart in the world is Russell 2000 small caps, which is why I included it in this chart. And it's funny that you guys asked me about it, because I'm looking at it. It's the most important couple of charts in the world. Of course I'm looking at it. Of course I had it handy. You should have it handy too. And same thing, right? Retesting those former highs. So why does all this matter? Why do we care? Supply, demand, JC, just shut up and tell us whether we're buying it or not. Right, Giancarlo?
Yeah, man. And I think we got audio working now, you know? So I just want to remind people, if you're tuning in live, you can send us charts that you want charted live just in the chat. I know we're live on Twitter as well. And I believe my audio is working. If I can get a thumbs up, let's see.
Thumbs up from me.
All right, cool. So yeah, next one. I got somebody asking about.
Hold on, let me finish. Giancarlo. You can tell Giancarlo. You can tell Giancarlo's not a trader.
I was
right?
shook. Giancarlo's not a trader. As soon as audio wasn't working, I was like, "Dang it!"
Giancarlo just hangs out with traders. Giancarlo doesn't actually trade, and sometimes he'll be like, "Yo, JC, what's up with this Bitcoin?" And I'm like, "Really, Giancarlo?"
No, I don't. No, I don't.
I know. Something you have. Don't front. You have. You've brought up like random things in the past. All right.
I'm your uncle at Thanksgiving.
Bottom line is, Giancarlo, this is what the people want to know. Why is JC telling us all this stuff, and why does it matter? The reason it matters is because if financials are back below those 2018, 2020 highs, which, by the way, were also the 2007 highs. It's the same level, guys. These we're at where financials peaked right before the great financial crisis. Those highs, we're there now. So if we lose those highs, that is a major, major problem for financials. And if there's a major problem in financials, there's a major problem for the market. That's how that works. The financials, this is, you can't have financials falling apart in a bull market, right? That's just not how markets work. And then small caps, while maybe less important, still a major index. This is the Russell 2000 small cap index, has 2,000 stocks. Granted, they're all small cap stocks by definition, but nevertheless in the same dilemma, right? And by the way, Giancarlo, fun fact, you see these highs right here?
Yeah.
In 2018, this is going into the fourth quarter of 2018. And as you can see here, financials were already rolling over, which is a great indicator for the overall market. If financials are underperforming, that's a heads up, something might be wrong under the surface. So even with higher highs in small caps, financials were already making lower highs. That's what we call bearish divergence. But we actually got really short right here in the fourth quarter of 2018. This trade paid for my wedding the following year.
Nice. And it was a nice wedding.
So Giancarlo knows my wife and my family and everything like that. So I figured you'd appreciate that story, Giancarlo.
Oh, I love it, man. And yeah, we've been working together for a long time, and it's my first time joining on one of these streams. Again, you could drop your charts in the chat. The other one I want to ask about was the dollar index, DXY. What's cracking with that?
Do you want to ask about it, or is somebody wanting
to? No, that
ask?
was one that I had preloaded for you, from our team.
Oh, no wonder the team's.
Yeah,
I'm like, how does Giancarlo know we got to be looking at?
The team is full of a bunch of nerds. It's really impressive. And then I do have some that are coming on in the chat too that we'll jump into next. All right, we got De La Rivera asking and Joe, so we'll jump to those.
Here's your dollar index, okay. Right?
Let me zoom in on that.
So this is it. This is the dollar index. Back down to those support levels, right? Back to those levels. So, the dollar's had a very strong negative correlation with stocks for quite some time. You want me to tell you a little story, Giancarlo? Of course. You want a little story? Story time. Story time with JC and Giancarlo. I appreciate everybody who's here, to quote the great Brooklyn philosopher and poet, Mr. Jay-Z. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. So I appreciate that, right? All right, so here's what we got cooking. So here's the dollar index going back a ways, right?
Like a ways, yeah.
Like a ways. At the end of 2016 here, see this?
Yeah.
This top right here? See that?
I do.
So that was the end of 2016. That was right after the Trump election. And right after the Trump election, the dollar got absolutely smoked. Right?
Yeah.
This is 2017. 2017 was one of the greatest years in the history of the stock market, right? One of the least volatile years in the history of the stock market. Stocks just went steady Eddie. Every day. It was like the ongoing joke on Twitter was like the how many days in a row that the S&P's gone without falling 1%. It was like a record. It was an ongoing joke. It was just annoying after a while, right? That was the type of market environment. When it's annoying that every day you're reminded that we haven't had a 1% drop in ages, is probably a pretty good market. In fact, it was fantastic. And then a funny thing happened, Giancarlo. A funny thing happened in 2018. See that?
I do.
A funny thing happened in 2018. What do you think happened to stocks in 2018?
Stocks in 2018, I'm trying to think of just general history, but I'm blanking right now because,
Crypto got crushed, stocks got crushed, some sort of like global trade, China trade, something or other, I think was the excuse they gave, but nevertheless, stronger dollar. And then the dollar peaked again. And this was right after the peak of COVID in March. Remember we did the Charge Summit for Charity in March of 2020 when COVID shit hit the fan?
Oh, yeah. I do remember.
So, having conversations with my friends and like, we're all making more money than ever. Like we were trading that beautifully and there were people dying and people losing money. And it kind of like felt weird. And remember, that's why we teamed up with Traders for a Cause and we put on that.
We raised a lot of money for charity. Yeah.
Exactly. We raised like $250,000, bro. It was
pretty epic.
Ridiculous. Amazing. Appreciate your help with all that, by the way.
Of course.
So anyway, that was right here. So then from there, the dollar got slammed. How did stocks do when the dollar was getting slammed?
They were probably performing pretty well then.
It was the greatest 52-week period in the history of the United States stock market.
That's crazy.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then a funny thing happened. You like story time? I
like story time, yeah.
Yeah, right? So funny thing happens at the beginning of 2021. The dollar stopped going down. The dollar started going up. What do you think happened?
Then that means dollars going up, stocks are tanking, They
got the shit kicked out of them. This dollar bottom right here, this is ARK peaking, Kathy Woods, like the next Warren Buffett.
Yep.
Everybody had a SPAC. You don't know what SPACs are, but
special purpose acquisition company.
Look at you.
Watch yourself with that. I'm learning. Come on, I'm involved.
Very impressive, Giancarlo. Very impressive. Anyway, at this moment, so SPACs are basically mostly scams. Every now and then there's one that's not, but like it's pretty junky, which is the point. It's nothing against SPACs, but when everybody has a SPAC, that's probably information. There was a new ETF of SPACs. It was hilarious. To be fair, I made a phone call or two to see if I could get a SPAC. I never did, but I'm not going to front. I'm like, bro, everybody's got a SPAC.
Yeah, that's a top.
And I started calling a couple of friends. I'm like, how do I get one? And my friends are like, don't do that, stupid. I'm like, yeah, that is stupid. And then I call another friend. I'm like, yo, you think I need a SPAC? And they're like, no, that's stupid. I'm like, yeah, okay, good. Yeah. So anyway, I had good friends at the time that tell me that was a bad idea. As it turns out, it was a great idea not launching a SPAC. I mean, who knows how it would have turned out, but whatever.
Probably
I don't need another.
Not well. Even the name, I don't think sounds very attractive. Yeah, just to put it simply.
Yeah, no doubt. So dollar bottoms. So the NASDAQ new 52-week highs list peaks. The NASDAQ advanced decline line peaks. Chinese internet stocks peak. Biotechnology peaks and starts crumbling. Crypto starts showing some signs of topping. It hadn't quite topped yet, but things were already rumbling underneath the surface. And dollar absolutely ripped, like literally, like just crazy rip. Obviously, as you can see here, over the next couple of years, we've been in a bear market, or we were in a bear market for quite some time. And then, what happened at the end of September, Giancarlo? Can I ask you what happened at the end of September?
What happened at the end of September?
Dollar peaks.
So then, if dollar's going down with this inverse correlation, I'm hearing. I mean, stocks must be ripping if she's going down.
Dude, back-to-back quarters for the S&P 500, 7% prints each quarter, which is off the charts. Europe rallied 25% in the fourth quarter and another 16% in the first quarter. Stocks absolutely ripping with a weaker dollar. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's story time with JC right there. So if that's the case, we know all that history. If you own stocks, let's clean this up a little bit. If you own stocks, what do you think you want the dollar to do here?
If you own stocks, you want the dollar to go below these levels. Yeah.
Are you insinuating that perhaps a break of support would be advantageous to the stock market longs?
I think it would, based off of the story time and lesson you just gave me. Yeah.
This, Giancarlo, you know what you are now? You are an intermarket analyst. This is intermarket analysis where we're using information from one asset class to help us make decisions in another. This is what you're doing. You're a pro, bro.
Yeah, top-down approach. If you want to see what one's doing, check their neighbors, right?
These are the levels. You start seeing the dollar break below these levels, and you got a serious move. And then so while we're on the subject, and you could start getting ready for the next one.
Okay.
While we're on the subject,
yep.
If you take a look at emerging market currencies,
And when the dollar goes down, emerging markets tend to go up, right?
Emerging market stocks and the Forex, right? So there's a higher correlation between the stock market on a positive basis, right? In emerging markets relative to developed markets in the U.S. in particular. So this is emerging market currencies. So this is CEW, our homies over at Wisdom Tree.
Mm-hmm.
They're not even sponsoring this. Shout out, Jeremy. Wisdom Tree puts up great, I mean, they put up so many really interesting, They put up so many interesting ETFs. This is one of them. It's emerging market currencies, right? Here's your support levels back here, right? Here's your support levels again, right? Here's your support levels again more recently, right? So this bottomed in the summer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when stocks started to appreciate, right? Stocks stopped going down last summer, right? So then here we are. These are emerging market currencies. You know, what happens if we start getting a breakout above these downtrend lines, start putting in higher highs, higher lows? How do you think stocks are doing? I think they're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Giancarlo, I think they're doing pretty good.
Be not doing well if that's the case.
The dollar would be doing poorly, exactly. Yeah. And the benefits of that would be to emerging market currencies, emerging market stocks, theoretically, would be my bet. Is my bet, I should say more clearly. You know, we think stocks continue to go higher. And if we think stocks continue to go higher, I think you need the dollar to fall. That's, I think, exactly what's happening. And, you know, you're seeing some strength out of gold and silver and things like that with that dollar weakness. So it's not a coincidence.
Gotcha.
All right, what's next?
All right, next we got John in the chat here asking for BROS. What levels are we watching? And it was Joe, not John. Thank you, Joe, for the question. And we do have a few more. So yeah.
Yep. So this is Dutch Brothers. You got this in California, don't you?
Dutch Brothers. It's like what, a bagel shop or something? I don't know.
No, it's coffee.
Oh, then no. I've just never dabbled with it.
We have one in Sonoma. I talk about how I still live there.
Yeah, I miss.
We have one in Sonoma. I wish it was
when
we.
you
I don't
lived in Sonoma. I really do. I do.
Dude, how sweet was Sonoma?
It's the best.
How sweet is Sonoma? If you've never visited Sonoma, I encourage you to visit Sonoma. It's based out of Oregon. How about that? All right, so this is it. And this, Giancarlo, is what we like to call, well, I guess we could say this is not an uptrend.
That's a downtrend. Even I know that.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Not an uptrend, right? You know, these are like some important levels. Found support, right? Found some support over here. Found some support over here. And we broke. See that? And we broke. And then that former support turns into what, Giancarlo?
Resistance.
Look at you.
Turns into resistance. It's not like I edited the class or anything, you know, and watched it a million times, right?
This is true. You did edit the technical analysis course. That's hilarious. And you had a resistance there, and this, of course, this is do we call this a whipsaw, Giancarlo? Is this a whipsaw?
That looks like that could be, yeah. I'm looking at the peaks over time. You know, those peaks going down, that's downtrend city.
Yeah, downtrend city. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. I love it. I love it. It makes me so happy, Giancarlo. I swear to God.
I'm happy to be in this, man. It's fun.
Dude, it's the little things. It's the little things. All right, so it's like 40, 41, you know, right? We draw our lines with crayons around here, don't we? Right?
Yep, thick lines. It's an area.
Look at this guy. 40, 41. You know, that's the level. Below that, it's a mess. You got to leave it alone. You know, above that, there's better. You know, you go chart by chart, you go stock by stock. This is the one you want to buy. Let me tell you something, Giancarlo. You see this guy? This is Merck. It's making new all-time highs. You know what Dutch Brothers doesn't look like? It doesn't look like Merck.
No, it doesn't.
Right?
It doesn't.
No. It doesn't look like Merck at all. So we put on a bull call spread. I'm not gonna test you on that one. We put on a bull call spread yesterday on Merck. We bought the here, let me just type it in for everybody listening. So we bought the October bull call spread. So we're long the October MRK 115 calls and short the October Merck 125 calls.
I'll zoom in for these guys. There you go.
So that's the trade we put on yesterday. And Giancarlo, I don't know if you're aware of this, my friend.
Whoa.
But healthcare is 14% of the S&P 500. It is the second largest weighting.
I didn't know that. But
you know what the first largest weighting is?
Oh man, you guys were talking about it earlier this week. Tech, like old legacy tech, right? Like Microsoft.
Tech in general. Yes, Microsoft is a big component of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, see, you know. So technology, largest weighting, and this is healthcare's second largest weighting. A lot of people don't know that in the S&P 500. And then what's also interesting is that the healthcare actually represents 20% of the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Right. Yeah. Also, the second largest weighting in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, 20%. Next to financials, crazy. By the way. So financials are the largest weighting in the Dow. Tech is the largest weighting in healthcare. In the S&P 500. Healthcare being number 2. Let me ask you something, Giancarlo. If healthcare starts rallying and starts breaking out to new all-time highs, considering it's in a long-term uptrend and has been doing nothing for 2 years, and consolidations tend to resolve in the direction of the underlying trend, right? Because we know that asset prices are not random. Asset prices trend. We know, we have the data. So if healthcare breaks out to all-time highs and it represents 14% of the S&P, represents 20% of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, in which direction do you think that the Dow and the S&P 500 are most likely moving in?
I would have to say that they're going up. They're going up with that kind of weight.
They're probably not crashing if their second largest components are making new all-time highs, right?
Mm-hmm. And we got more charts in the chat. We got more requests. It is chart requests live. So you want to move on to another one?
Dude, all day. Okay. I got to go in 3 minutes. So we got one more.
Right,
we got one more we'll dive into.
Let's see. We got Deleriva asking for Shop. He says we love Shop here in Canada. And then we also have somebody else asking for AXP and NatGas.
Giancarlo, did you know that Shopify is a Canadian company?
I didn't. No.
As somebody who uses Shopify, now you know.
Well, yes.
And when you look at shares of Shopify, would you say that this is an uptrend or a downtrend, Giancarlo?
I would say most of 22 was a pretty debilitating downtrend. Currently, like maybe in the short term, possibly, but long term, that's a downtrend.
Giancarlo, when this downtrend was occurring in Shopify, how was the dollar doing?
Dollar was probably ripping. Yep. Dollar was ripping.
Certainly was.
But hey, now I got a question from my TA learning that I've been doing with you guys. Is that going to form a base? Oh, he put his baseline up. All right.
Look at you. Come on, Giancarlo.
All right.
See? But it's messy. It's messy. It's really messy. It's messy. I guess you're above 45. I don't hate it. Above 45, that's probably the level. It's messy. Again, if you're gonna buy anything, is this what you want to buy? Nice move off the bottom. Nice, more than doubled. I think it was up, 50%, something like that. Big move off the lows. Looks to me like this is still in the process of putting in a bearish to bullish reversal. More of a process than anything else. Things like this take time. The old saying from Luis Yamada is, the bigger the drop, the longer the time it needs to repair. And that's what you're seeing here, right? So this is, Giancarlo, when you were a bad boy and you get detention, you strike me as somebody who was in detention a lot.
It was a mix. Yeah, it was class clown, teacher's favorite, but constantly in detention.
Yeah. So this is like detention. Like it was bad. It just treated investors poorly, and now it's in detention. It's paying the consequences, right? So maybe it can redeem itself one day and begin a new uptrend, but that's not always the case, as you know. You fortunately made it. You made it in life. Crushing it, right? No big deal.
Yeah. I mean, if I know anything about I think your style of trading, I don't think you would touch that until it was clearly in an uptrend, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough one for me. It's not for me. I give it a little more time. Give it a little more time. Let it develop. And if all of a sudden it just starts ripping and goes to the moon without me, then so be it, right? But I'm looking for a cleaner setup. Yeah. So how did we do, Giancarlo? First time you and me? What do you think?
Man, I can hop in and sub whenever you guys need me. Next time I'll be a little, I'll make sure my audio's patched in. Sorry for that, viewers, at the beginning of the show. But thanks for letting me be a part of it with you guys. And thanks for the questions. If you don't have 20 seconds for one more?
No, I gotta hop.
You gotta
guys,
hop.
listen.
We'll get you next time. We'll get you guys next time, all right? But always keep the questions coming. And thanks for watching with us, man. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Email us info@allstarcharts.com and start chiming in on the ticker symbols. That's info@allstarcharts.com and just start chiming in on the ticker symbols, and we'll have a few ready for next time.
I love it, man. Well, dude, have a lovely rest of your day. I'm sure I'll see you later on the day. Probably hop on a phone call or anything. YouTube, thanks for watching. See you guys next week. Later, guys.
Adios.
Adios. Peace. Let me play this music now. 1 second. Here we go, y'all. I was